Welcome everyone to the listening party for the Publishing Performance Show. Nice to see so many of you here. My name's Teddy, and this is going to be, my first podcast talking about books, and we're going into the world of self-publishing. Now, in this podcast, we've got a number of amazing guests, and all of them are in the publishing world or in the self-publishing world. Now, the aim of this podcast is to have two types of audiences, really. We've got our authors, so we're going to interview authors, so amazing authors. We've been interviewing Kevin Anderson, which has been an absolutely amazing episode where we've talked about Dune, Star Wars, and all those sort of books that he's written. He's written over 200 books. And then we've also got authors such as Brownell Landrum, who's got some unbelievable books. Plus, today I interviewed Christina Graves, who's a new author in the horror section. She's got some really quite scary books, and that was a great interview today. She sort of turned up. She was really nervous. It was her first interview, and it went really well. And then the other types of interviews we've got are going to be interviews with people who are kind of in the industry. So we're going to have interviews with people who are maybe they have got an agency, or maybe they've got a software tool, or maybe they've got their consultants in the industry. We had interviewed some amazing people such as Mike Gurrigan from Written Word Media. Now, Written Word Media is one of the best marketing platforms out there for self-published authors. I interviewed Isabel Knight, who's going to talk to you all about author PR and how you can do PR for your brand. So basically, we've got a huge number of great interviews coming up. So I thought I would just take you through the first 3 episodes that we've got live, so that you can get a bit of an idea for what sorts of shows we're going to be having. Now, first episode we've got live is with a guy called Stuart Grant. Now, Stuart Grant is the founder of the Digital Authors Toolkit, and they basically create amazing websites for authors. Now, a lot of people always ask me about creating a website for an author. Is it the best thing you should be doing? Do you think you should be creating your author website when you could be focusing on, making books or marketing those books? But what we talked about in the episode is actually marketing books is so important, and it's so important to make sure you've got that online presence, because it's all about building your brand. Now, in one of my later episodes with Isabel Knight, we talk all about how you can build your brand as an author, and in that it's all about making sure you've got that online presence, making sure you're consistent across all your books, making sure you've got great front covers that sort of match with the rest of your online presence. Now, when we're talking to Stuart Grant, what we were talking about was how you can make your website match up with what you've got, what your books are about. So, for example, my interview with James Blatch, his website is a great example. On his website, he has loads of pictures of, fighter jets like flying through the sky, and it's all sort of like military colors. Now, all his books are obviously about Cold War thrillers to do with the RAF. Now, if he made a website that was pink, that would probably not really talk to his target audience that well. So in that episode with Stuart Grant, we talk all about the importance of having an author website. Now, Stuart's services are so reasonable, and he does such an amazing job. He's worked with some of the biggest self-published authors out there, and he's one of the big names in the sort of self-publishing community in the UK. So he's got a lot of experience with talking to loads of different types of authors, working with huge authors, working with small authors. But all of the websites you can see from his case studies on his website are absolutely top notch. They're really unbelievably good websites. So definitely check that episode out so you can learn a bit more about creating a really great author website for your brand. Now, the second interview we've got is with Mike Hourigan, who is from Written Word Media. Now, Written Word Media is the team that brought you brands such as Free Booksy and Cheap Booksy and Bargain Booksy, sorry. And these are the brands which basically Written Word Media is all about helping you market your book online. So in that session, we talked all about how you can use free books to really start getting a lot of reviews for your Amazon books, to start boosting up the rankings, to make sure that people can see your book and it's starting to get a bit of attention. You can also see that we talk about how you can use other forms of marketing, such as newsletter marketing, how you can reach out to different newsletters. And in that session, it was great because Mike gave his tips about how you can do it DIY for yourself, and also how you can you can use his services to get out to lots of different newsletters around the world. Now, If you are going to do it yourself, it's it's a bit of a manual job. You've got to go and find the different newsletters. You've got to go and make sure it's your target audience. By using something like Free Booksy, you can get those books out there straight away and start getting those reviews. Now, there are some other tools as well to get reviews that I like using. I really like using Pubby, for example. I think it's one of the best tools out there. It's a really great way to get as many reviews as possible. But the good thing about Free Booksy is their audiences are really targeted, so people could actually become fans of your books. If you use something like Pubby, basically you're paying for the reviews. Whereas with Free Booksy, these people who download the books, they want free books, but they're also signing up for particular newsletters about different niches. So if your book is about romance books, if your book is a romance book, you'll be putting your book in front of customers who are really into romance books. So you can then potentially have a customer for life. You'll have one customer there who is looking at your books, then they might buy your future books. So if you are creating a series, offering that first book for free is a really great way to offer that. Now, in our third episode, we had a really amazing interview with Kevin J. Anderson. Now, Kevin J. Anderson is the author of loads of books, like over 200 books. Plus, he's the founder of Superstars Conference. Plus, he's a professor at West Colorado University teaching about publishing. He's got his fingers in every single pie in the self-publishing world, basically. And he's an expert at going to conferences and doing networking and things like that. So in that episode, we talked about his book writing. Now, some of his books are extremely famous. He's the author of some of the original Dune books. After the original writer, Barry Herbert, died, he wrote the other books with his son. And so those books are, they're so famous at the moment. Obviously, those big films that are out there with Timothée Chalamet, you can see that those, his publishing has really, really taken off. So it was amazing speaking to him because he's obviously had the opportunity to write in those massive franchises and to really get involved in something that has become massive. And he was actually the producer on some of the films now. So he's had a really interesting life. So in that interview, we talked a bit about his Dune books. We talked about the way he does his marketing for his books, and his most recent series of books, he's actually marketing them by doing a Kickstarter campaign, which I thought was really interesting because I've never done a Kickstarter campaign. But now I can see that it's a really great way to market your book. You can sell other products alongside your books. You can build up some really some sort of super fans. You can sell other products. You can get the super fans of your books to maybe give you money up front. So you basically get an upfront payment like you would if you were published. But the people paying you are your fans. And the more you can set it up with Kickstarter, so the more they pay you, the different jobs they do. So say, for example, they pay you $100, then that's just a free book. But they pay you $200, they can be featured in the book. So they can have their name dropped in there, something like that. Now, this can be a really great way to chat to your fans, connect to them, really get an understanding for what they like. It's a really exciting way of doing it, speaking directly to your fans, really getting an idea for what they want and having a great connection with them. So in those 3 episodes, we are launching. We're live now. We'll be having an episode live every single week over the next few weeks, running up to Christmas and hopefully into the new year too. We've got lots to talk about, lots of interviews to do, and we're heading out to Author Nation in Las Vegas in a few weeks too. So we'll be having some live interviews with some of the best authors out there. So hit subscribe onto the channel. There's lots for us to talk about. We're going to be, if you've got any questions, definitely just let me know. We'll be having some sessions like this where we'll be answering people's questions. So yeah, just let me know. And if you can follow me on Instagram at Teddy A.G. Smith or on YouTube. It's a bit different this for me. So hopefully you enjoy it. I think you're going to find the interviews really interesting. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. There's no more questions, so give a chance to head off and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.